First things first, I'm going to teach you how to set up RPCS3 from scratch. Load up the Discover Store, as you can see on the bottom left-hand corner. You can either search for RPCS3 or just click Applications. Then you're going to want to go to Games, and then you're going to see Emulators. Now you're going to scroll through until you see RPCS3, which is a PS3 emulator. There you go, open source PS3 emulator. Click to install it. Now, while it's installing, we can download the firmware which we're going to need. So you're going to want to Google PS3 Firmware download. The first website that should come up should be PlayStation.com, because this is totally legit. And you're going to scroll down, and this is your button to download it. Now, it's going to work a little differently than Windows, so you can't just click the link. It won't actually download like that. So you're going to want to right-click on it and then click Save Link As. Now it's going to ask you where to save it. You can just save it to your downloads folder. I already have it, so I don't need to download it again, but you'll see it's a PUP file. All right, now on the bottom left, you're going to open Dolphin, not the emulator, but the file browser. Scroll to your downloads folder. This is where it should be. Now you're going to want to move it from here because this is where all your downloads are going to show up. So to move something, you just right-click on it, and then you click Cut, just like you do on a Windows computer. And then if you don't have an SD card, I recommend making a folder in the home menu. Right-click on home and then click Create New Folder, and then label it PS3 or something. I have an SD card, so that's where I put it. So if you scroll down on the left side, you'll see Removable Devices. I got a 512 gigabyte in there. I'm going to click on ROMs, which is a folder I created. That's where all my ROMs are, which of course I got legally. And then under there's PS3, and there's my firmware file. There's also my game, Persona 5. When I can't tell you how to get Persona 5, obviously. If you want, I can make a video how to rip it from a PS3. But basically, when you download it, you'll see it in a folder like that, and then just drop it in this folder, and you're good to go. Now you can get rid of the Discover Store. We don't need that anymore. And go under Games, and you should see RPCS3, and it's loaded up. Actually, it's still kept my settings from last time I installed it, but that's fine. So you're going to want to go File and then Install Firmware. Now you're going to locate your firmware file that we just downloaded. So you either put it in a PS3 folder under Home, or if you're like me and have an SD card, I put it under ROMs, under PS3, and there it is. Double click on it and it'll start installing. I already have it installed, so it's going to say, do I want to overwrite? And no, because I already have it. I don't need to do that. Now for games, it's the same kind of thing. So File, Add Games, and you're going to want to locate your game folder. So I put it in that folder, but from scratch, we go to the SD card under ROMs, and then PS3. Now this is where Linux is a little weird again, not really like Windows. So you can't click on it because it's a folder. It's not a file. So you see I just click, it functions like a double click. That's basically how it would work if it was Windows. So what you actually need to do, you can see I can click as many times, it's not going to open. So I want to go back to the whole PS3 folder to make sure that I'm at the folder above where the game is. So I'll come back in here and I go to PS3, and I can highlight it by dragging my cursor starting not on the file and then dragging over it to highlight it. Now I can click open and my game will show up. All right, now we're going to go to Settings, Configuration, CPU. Under Additional Settings, you're going to see Enable SPU Loop Detection. You're going to want to make sure that that is enabled. Under SPU Block Size, you want it to be Mega. It'll probably start as safe, switch it to Mega. Preferred SPU Threads, you're going to switch it to 2 instead of Auto. Now, technically, you could do 1, but it'll probably give you problems, so I wouldn't do that. Under Audio, you're going to want to unenable buffering. That's specific for this game. It causes issues for some reason. All right, now under Advanced, that's the last thing. Scroll down, and on the left side, you see maximum number of SPURS threads. You're going to want to click on that, and you're going to click 4. Don't leave it at unlimited because the Steam Deck's not powerful enough for that. Click Apply and Save. Final thing, make sure your controller's set up. Click the controller icon. Now, your devices should be listed like I have it. It should say, you can click on it and go down to Microsoft Xbox 360 pad, which is how it reads it. It should also auto-populate, but if it doesn't, it's super easy. So you see here, I'm just clicking on something, and then it's waiting for me to enter in the corresponding key. So if I click L1, I click L1 on the Steam Deck, and then boom, it registers it. As you can see, nothing's changing because I already did it. But if it's not set up for whatever reason, you can do it like this, and it even shows you a picture. And L3 and R3 are the clickable sticks. Then once you're done with that, you just click save and you are ready to go. Open it up and Persona 5 will work, I mean, as good as it's going to work. Now, one final thing. Technically, the Steam Deck isn't really powerful enough to emulate the PlayStation 3. The reason that this kind of works is because we're essentially having it emulate a PlayStation 3 that would be less powerful. Atlas, who made this game, they are not really known for taking advantage of the PS3. So a lot of the hardware when they made this game kind of got left unused. And that's why we can get away with lowering the settings and still having the game work correctly and getting much better performance. Now, you can technically make it so these settings only apply to this game. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't think it's worth it. And that's because you need to run a game that requires settings to be higher to where like it use more of the PS3. It's just not going to work because the Steam Deck isn't powerful enough to do it. And then as you'll see here, it's just going to work as good as it can. I mean, there's almost no audio clipping, games running at 100%. It's basically perfect. You should be good to go. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll respond as quick as I can. Until next time.